I have the luxury, the joy of introducing Hugues de Mézerac, who is the Chief Product Officer at Theodo. He has a training in engineering, 15 years in product management, leads Theodo, which is creating end-to-end solutions for large and small companies, executing the technology and the product for them. 700 people, right, in the UK and in France. He's going to tell us a little bit about his cognitive biases. I hope you'll think about yours. Don't hold them against us whilst we're doing this. Hugues, welcome to the stage. Welcome to PMF.
Thank you, Patrick. So, good afternoon, everyone. The PMF is the product conversation of tomorrow. But before talking about tomorrow, let's go back a bit in the past. Let's go just 3 months back. I'm a big fan of the Olympics. Maybe you are also. It was in France. It was at home. As you may hear, I'm French. And I really was thrilled I could attend 3 sports sessions. Let's do a little game all together. Could you guess what are these sports? The first one over there? No, wrong answer. Yeah, water polo. Second one, beach volleyball. Yeah. Last one, dressage. You got it right. And big up on the German and Swiss team who are very good at horse riding. Round of applause for you. So I will attend this free sports session with my family, with my 2 kids and some nephews. I was responsible for them. But before going, I was a bit concerned about safety. What could happen? And actually, everything went smoothly. Nothing happened. We were really lucky because the security platform that was supporting this type of events was not fully ready. Why was that? Because of a cognitive bias called the bike shed effect. That's why it's really important to talk about biases. That's my topic for you today. So I'm Hugues, a product leader. I'm expert in discovery for B2B products, especially also on complex products with AI, and acting today as CPO of Theodo, a French and tech and AI agency. So let me share with you my agenda. I'll share with you 3 stories about real product experience I've been part of, and on each of these product story, I got really challenged. Even I got some fails. And I want to share with you why these fails happen. Each of the fail happened because of a cognitive bias. Now, let's start with the first product story. It's this security digital platform who aimed at helping cities managing safety and security for large events and public locations. It was an operating system with hardware and software to help operation control center, these big rooms with CCTV screens on the wall and video operator looking at them. They are connected with all the sensors, especially the CCTV. And one of the most innovative use cases of that platform was called suspect tracking. I'm sure all of you've been already stuck in a train station or in an airport due to a left luggage. Are you? You can raise hand. We wanted to solve that problem. That's not normal. Things could flow even if that happened. So we wanted to help CCTV operator detect any incident, find the luggage with the CCTV, and then find back find the owner of that luggage in the past CCTV footage, and then track that owner in real time, wherever he was, to maybe just decide what to do, what to do next. And so the current video operator user flow was quite manual. People were just going from one camera to the other with the mouse, opening the streaming video, and then doing captures manually. We wanted to help them with automatic steps to go faster, to be able to react within minutes. And by introducing these automatic steps with AI features, it became really challenging for us to get a smooth user flow for video operator. So we iterate on many versions of the user flows. They were not perfect solution, so we tested and we discussed a lot with video operators. But just before going to prod, when we were launching in pre-production, what happened? It didn't work. The compressed video stream wasn't good enough. How can we detect any face if the stream is not of good quality and if we have poor bandwidth and poor data pipelines? So the full use case was just over. And why that? Because we focused on the wrong conversation. We invested a lot of efforts on the UX risk and not on the video technical streaming risk. Maybe that happened to you. That also happened to another team. Just let me share another story. This team was supposed to build a power plant. They had a 1-hour meeting with exec, and during the 10 first minutes, an expert explained a detailed plan on all the technical aspects. Nobody asked any question, they were all okay, they agree on that. Then next topic on the agenda, the color of the bike shed. What happened? The remaining 50 minutes of the meeting, they were debating about the color. And so, that's why we call that effect the bike shed effect. People spend more time discussing trivial topics because it's easier to contribute. And I'm sure you all of you have been in meetings debating on the button color with stakeholders. And that's exactly why. So how can we collectively avoid that effect? First of all of us, we time box our discussion based on their importance. That's why we'll work a lot offline with Slack. Thank you, Slack, for trivial topic or trivial decision. But as a product team, to really tackle that, you need to address complex product risk first. And that's always something you don't want to tackle. That's something that is hard. And you won't show value or deliver value very fast because it's the toughest element part of the product or the business you're building. And exactly, usually, even that's something that you don't know. And that's exactly the role of a product leader. Product leader should help product team detect what I call the knowledge gap. A team doesn't know something, and that exactly that aspect they should tackle first. And for a product leader, that's his mission. By bringing outside-in expertise, by bringing really fresh perspective to that matter. So that's for the first bias. Let's go to the second story. This story dates from a couple of years back. I was a first PM and entrepreneur launching a self-service car rental technology to help any car rental company offer seamless digital experience for renting a car. I would say going directly to the parking lot, skipping the desk. it was quite innovative back in time. Now it's quite common. And it was a joint venture between Capgemini and Valeo. We launched it on the market with a very big marketing campaign that was exactly on time for the Paris Motor Show in 2016. And there, so it was all all the video, all the screen in the show. We had a booth during two weeks, so we were we wanted to hit the market and be quite aggressive to get clients. But I can share with you what I had in mind at the time. The user I thought I was building my product for was this guy. Regular professional, maybe consultant, working during work days, who were traveling during work days, and who wanted a premium service. But at the end, who really found my product desirable were these people. People, tourists, who were just getting off the plane at the same time on Friday evening or Saturday morning for weekends and for the holiday season. And they were used to queue between 1 and 2 hours in front of the desk. They wanted desperately our product. But we weren't aware of that. Why that? So I was wrong on my ICP, on my ideal persona. It delayed our product market fit by 2 years. Not a good success. And why that? Why was that? Because this big product marketing campaign influenced me. It brought to me a very easy, available mental model about who was my user. So I completely got influenced by my own marketing campaign. And even for the fun fact, the actor who was playing that TV show, that ad, he was a former consultant himself. So we were fully in a bias, and we weren't aware of that. So what's the bias behind? Maybe you got it. It's called what we call the availability bias. People tend to rely on information that comes really to mind when making decisions. So we prefer to refer to our own thoughts, our own beliefs, and that's the beginning of our difficulties, of our nightmares. So how to avoid that bias? Three answers. So all of us, we need to diversify our information sources. As we also now got to know on social network, we are fully influenced on special interests that are ours and not with our perspective. So as a product team, it's even more important to do some research. For sure, discovery is part of the solution, but not any type of discovery. I would say field discovery, going on the ground with your users to just avoid bringing surface insights. And that's the problem usually also with research. I challenge teams a lot. They bring their own thoughts, or I can see that they're just writing on the paper what they have in their head. And our role as a product leader is to detect what are the mental models they carry, and to really fix these mental models. Otherwise, this bias will be spread across the full product, across many other decisions. So as a product leader, you need to identify the root causes, find really what's happening in the head of your teams. That's a tough one. So if we move to the third story, now it's about climate change. AXA is a large French insurer who wanted to help B2B companies adapt to climate change. And first, they wanted to help private equity funds, infrastructure funds, to make informed decisions about the asset they want to invest in. For example, a large investment fund want to acquire a plant in South Asia. They need to know, they need to take into account some risk and some climate risk. That is the level of risk about floods in this area, or the level of risk about extreme heat, and so on, and all the carbon and biodiversity risk also, because there'll be a challenge at the exit after this investment. So we explore this idea for investment fund, and we launch an MVP with a couple of beta testers. There were different funds, and we were addressing I would say, the persona of the ESG professional. So we engaged a lot with them. We had a great interaction, and we shipped a first version. We were very happy, or we got good feedback that made us decide to launch the product a couple of months after. We launched this product that is called Altitude. And this product we got really easily many clients, large French or international investment fund like PAI or ICA Partners. They purchased this SaaS. This SaaS is now making 3 million ARR end of this year. But none of our beta tester purchased the SaaS. We were really sad and we were really annoyed by that. Why was that? Because all of our beta testers, they were enthusiastic, just because they got used to a product. They were not that eager to use it. They were maybe forced to use it. They were familiar with it. And we fell again in a trap. This effect, this bias, is called the mere exposure effect. People tend to develop a preference for things simply because they are familiar with them. There are many, many applications, especially in the advertising industry. That's the only reason why Coca-Cola is still spending millions in marketing campaigns to make people want to buy Coca-Cola when they are thirsty, because we are so exposed to this picture, this product image, that we all love Coca-Cola. We know, even if we don't know, even if we don't want. So, how to collectively, in our daily life, I would say, overcome that effect? First is to spot outside influences. We've talked about ads. It's also true for LinkedIn posts. We are so, I would say, exposed and hit by this post. Unconsciously, we also, I would say, remember things we don't want, or even got influenced. So be careful about that. And second thing, as a product team, we need to seek diverse feedback and even go for conflicting opinions beyond your core users, beyond your beta testers. Otherwise, you just get the answer you want. So be careful about that. And what is most difficult is that as a product leader, you need to be careful, because your own team can also get attached to the product. It's not just your user, your core user, or beta tester. We all fell in love with part of the roadmap because it has been on the roadmap slide for the last 10 months. So for sure, we love that part of the roadmap. We want to ship it. Be careful about that. As a product leader, we need to fight against that attachment, or at least be aware of that. So an option can be rotate team members to bring fresh perspective and to really, I would say, alleviate a bit that effect. So let me do a recap of these three effects, these three biases. The bike shed effect. We also name it as the triviality law of Parkinson. That's the second law of Parkinson. Maybe you know the first one. So for that one, you need to balance your team's knowledge gaps. And my best advice for that, and I think the most valuable asset in your product career, is to build a strong network of experts. And by expert, I don't think of ChatGPT. That is just an intermediate level on any topic, but that's not an expert. You need to go beyond that and have a strong network of real people that you can meet in real life or you can interact with. And even conferences are very good to do that. Second bias, availability bias. On that, you need to help your team. You need to fix the inaccurate mental model your teams have in their head. And to do that at scale in your organization, I would say you need to evangelize about what is really discovery. Discovery is about getting rid of misconception. You need to promote that and really measure how far in each and every research, how far product manager, product team invalidate the assumption. If they don't invalidate, that's not discovery, that's just confirmation bias. So they should really get rid of the misconception. And the last one, even to build on what Bradley Horowitz said yesterday morning, it's the example of Google musical chairs to change team, to bring new advice, new vision. So based on these three first biases I share with you, there are many more. I encourage you when you go back to your product tomorrow morning to have a fresh look at it and then think of all maybe the biases you've carried along the way to make this decision. Thank you for listening. Happy to answer all your questions.
Hugues, that was a great overview. I will ask if there are any attendees who want to ask a question. While I walk down into the audience, I'm going to ask one which I have the advantage of having the microphone before anybody else does. One of the things which I think is really, I love this talk, firstly. It's very brave, I thought also. Did you have, talking about, these are real failures, right, where things went wrong. This is not like an interview question where people are saying, you know, what's your weakness? And you say, oh, I work too hard, you know, or something. But it also shows an amazing empathy within your team to think about these things and come back to them.
Yeah.
How do you encourage that with your team? And whilst you answer that, anyone else who has a question, I'll come over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Very good question. And I would say we do that, I would say, at scale within Theodo at two horizons. Really, we have delivery sprints of 1 week, but we also run discovery sprints. And I think the literature, the product culture is kind of short on what is a good discovery retrospective. That's exactly looking at what you wanted to learn, and how did you learn these insights, and how sure you think these are closer to the reality, and just not out of your thoughts or out of your biases. So we do that at every end of discovery sprint retrospective, and then also after any discovery phase that can be a bit longer, we look again with the team the set of assumptions they had, and I'm really pleased. My success metric is how far they invalidate most of the assumption. If that's not more than half of the assumptions that are invalidated, I told them, okay, go back to work. You still have to discover new things, because we know that we don't know, and for sure we can't know any user, job, reality, and so on. So it's really a matter of how fast we iterate and we challenge ourselves before delivering.
Thank you. I think you answered half of my question. These look like very ambitious projects and very smart people and lots of effort on them, not proof of concepts and so. So my question is, and it's probably easier after the fact to sit down and debrief and see, have the bias discussion. What would you introduce earlier? And you're talking about retrospectives, because there are so many biases actually, right? How would you utilize as a framework or to challenge people and say, hey, are we actually biased here? Because I imagine, again, these people are very smart and they were thinking about so many things and they were sure that this is a very good product and we kind of nailed it until.
Yeah, good question. And how so? If I rephrase it, is how to make these people aware and what's a routine to help them think of these biases. Even to also give you an insight, if you look at the Wikipedia page about cognitive biases, there are like around 95 biases. And now, what a very actionable recommendation I would say is just pick the first 12, and you can just decide there is the bias of the month. Bias of the month, confirmation bias. And then every week you have that discussion with your mentees, with your PMs. Okay, how far are you challenging your confirmation bias? What did you learn? And then you to make your teams aware of these biases and learn. So month by month, I think it's a good way to start. As an exercise or as a background thing. No, you won't remember, and there are for the product world. I think there are 30 biases that are relevant. So, but start with the first 12 when you read it that make you smile, that make you think of failures you had, and even suggest that to your teams.
Hi, thank you very much for your presentation. Before you mentioned that one of the biases forced you to focus on the wrong persona for 2 years for mobility. But do you have a success story where early on you used one of your techniques and you noticed that we are influenced by a bias and you saved a couple of years of going into the wrong direction? Thank you.
Yeah, good. I like to. That's a very challenging question. No, on the last, for example, on the climate tech SaaS, we were okay on the persona. We're still iterating, so we target the ESG directors in funds, and because we had easy access to them, so I challenge that because if it's just the easy persona, be careful. But I challenge big time teams, but they were the right person who were taking the decision or preparing the investment decision with that aspect. So now I would not say forever, but I'm so conscious about that bias on persona that are really tough on teams, and I help them find a good one. But that's my part. I don't know for teams, they'll do their own mistakes, but faster, and that they could iterate and not wait for 2 years.
Marvelous. Hugues, thank you very much for your talk. Please join me in giving him another little round of applause.
Thank you.